Okay, this video is just going to go through specific domain and range questions, and domain and range is actually very, very important. You're going to cover it in every chapter, and there's quite a few test questions for this chapter that revolve around domain. So take a second and make sure that all of these make sense. So when you're looking at a picture, like a picture of a graph, the line is continuous. So that means your domain is everything connected starting from here all the way to the other end. So this x value, because my scale here, this is -1, so this would be about -1.5. So this point right here is about -1.5. And then this is 1, so this is 2, so that's about 2.5. So that means that your domain, which are all of your x values, that means x can be anything from -1.5 all the way through 2.5, because here x is -1, here x is 0, here x is a half. But it's continuous all the way from one point to the next point. So when you write that for now, you can write x is everything from -1.5, including that point, through +2.5, including that point. And so make sure that you include those points. And then your range is your y values. So if you look at your y, it's everything, your lowest point is here and your highest point is here, and then everything in between is covered. So y can be this, and this, and this, and this, all the way to the top. So your y value here, sorry about my scales, but I'll use a different color. So this point right here is -1/2, and this peak point right here is 1.5. And everything in between there is covered. If I go here, I have a point on a graph. If I go here for y, I have a point on a graph. If I go here for y, I have 2 points on the graph. So I write my range as everything in between -1/2 and +1.5. Okay, I would pause the video and you try this one, and note that it's not continuous, so it's everything from here to here, and then there's a break in the graph, and then from here to here, and then there's a small break in the graph from here to here. Just see if you can get it. Pause the video. So again, your domain is all the x values. So this segment goes from -6 through -2. This segment goes from 0 through 3. And this segment goes from 4 through 7. But it doesn't include everything between 3 and 4. It doesn't include everything in between -2 and 0. So you have to make sure that your domain shows that. So x can be anything greater than or equal to -6, but less than or equal to -2. It's also everything greater than or equal to 0, but less than or equal to 3. And lastly, if I can squeeze it in here, I'll put it up here. X is everything greater than or equal to 4, but less than or equal to 7. So again, this statement is that segment. This statement from 0 to 3 is this segment, and from 4 through 7 is that segment. And then range is what y can be. So here, well, on this horizontal line, y equals 1, and that's it. Here, y goes from 2 through 4, so from 2 to 4, that spans. And here, y goes from 1 through -3. So this segment's range is kind of the standalone. From 2 to 4 is on this segment's the only one that falls in between 2 and 4. However, from 1 through -3, this segment actually falls into the 1 because there is no range to it since it's a flat line. So I really only have 2 pieces for my range. So y is everything greater than or equal to 2, but less than or equal to 4. Okay, so that would be this segment. And then this segment is everything less than or equal to 1, but greater than or equal to negative 3. So let's see here. Y is everything greater than or, oops, no, I wrote that wrong. Okay, so y is everything greater than or equal to negative 3, but less than or equal to 1, and that would be this segment, but also includes that segment. So there's your domain and range. Okay, last one should be actually the easiest, but people always write it incorrectly. So note it's not a continuous function, it's just a set of points. So you cannot say that your domain goes from negative 4 all the way through 4. Like, I can't say it's everything from negative 4 through 4, because that would be a straight continuous line. It's negative 4, it's also negative 2, it's also 0, it's 3, and it's 4, but it's not everything in between, because that would mean like it could be negative 3, it could be 1, and none of those points are in your domain. So this one you have to specifically write that your domain is negative 4, negative 2, 0, 3, and 4. So it's all of those x coordinates of those points, but not an inequality. And same for your range. So now your range is going to be negative 2, 0, 1, 2, and 4. So your range goes from negative 2, the next point is 0, then 1, then 2, then 4. So again, should be really easy, but as you can imagine, I see people will write it that y is greater than or equal to negative 2, but less than or equal to 4. And that, of course, well, first of all, is wrong, because that would imply that y could be negative 1.7, etc., etc. So be careful when it's not continuous, like a set of points, versus continuous, like the previous two.